hold each other's pinkies and just, tap dance around. I don't know what that's about, but money and power. And I guess if someone mentioned that Raytheon's in Massachusetts, that makes all the sense in the world. Lady Ice in the house. Good to see you, Spuds. And Brian Higgins, that is a good.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way.
Flash River,
so you can go kick rocks. I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
We got Husky Mom. Sadie. Shade says it was illegal for them, but Congress passed themselves special privileges. And I'm up 42% on Palantir, says Cartier. Thanks to following Nancy Pelosi. Thanks, Nancy. G-Man says, what website is this? Here, let me drop this link. Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Here, so I'll drop this right here. And I'll drop that on the YouTubes. So that is coming through. I'll also drop it in the chat. So it flies through down there. And yeah, insider trading at its finest, man. You can do real well if you know what's going to happen. If the company's going to go out of business, sell.
Is that Oklahoma?
Hey, what's going on, man? Sir Toenail Cupcakerson says, I put my creatine into my energy drink. Now my muscles are going to get jacked and energized. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good combo. Some people will just create entire blends that way. Like you'll actually have the energy supplements that have creatine in it. It's like you just mix it all. You don't even have to save you a mix. Just get some, it's like C4 with creatine or whatever the latest is. And get jacked, baby. We got to get jacked. And out-muscle the left in the gym everywhere. And politics and the gym. So, my friends, let's leave it there. It's a beautiful day. We are going to come back. We're going to have day 6 of the trial to attend to. And it was a very spicy contempt hearing this morning. We'll, of course, unpack all of that. And then we'll see what testimony looks like from Braggs, Pecker, and from whoever else they call next. So we'll pause. It's an amazing Tuesday. I hope your day is unfolding very nicely. You've got some tremendous Taco Tuesday plans ahead for yourself and everyone you care about, because tacos are love. And we're going to come back.
Took credit for it. He wants to take credit, his big ass, and go out there and clean it up every week then. Tell him to comb his fucking hair before he does it. This is just getting ridiculous. All right, I hear people now. They got to be back from lunch. I waited like 15, 20 minutes to ring the doorbell again. Yeah, can you not conceal your hands? You're making me feel uncomfortable, sir.
Say again?
Can you not conceal your hands? You're making me feel uncomfortable. Can you take your hands out of your pocket?
It's not in my pocket.
It is. It's in your vest pocket. Can you guys take your hands out of your pockets? You're making me feel uncomfortable. You make me very uncomfortable. Can you just take your hands out of your pockets, sir? Just do me a favor, take your hands out of your pockets for me.
No, sir, I'm not going to do that.
Sir, just go ahead and do me a favor, take your hands out of your pockets, please. Oh no, you guys, it's 12:59. Look at him. Look at him with the umbrella. Dumbass bitch. Hey, how about instead of sitting there having a fucking game show, you bring me a copy of the 2024 Competitiveness Red Book? How about that? How about you do the job you're getting paid to do? You good?
All right. What forms do you need again?
You got to hit the doorbell, sir.
What forms do you need?
So you are the doorbell?
What forms do you need?
2024 Competitiveness Red Book. Competitiveness Red Book.
If I get this form for you.
I'm out, bro.
No, I'm just sitting there saying. You wouldn't take a paper from him earlier. Don't need to sit up there to explain why you didn't do it. But if
No, there is a need to explain why.
Let me finish, okay?
Well, no, because you're just going to go on a hypothetical.
Let me finish.
You're going to waste your time, Johnson.
You wouldn't take a paper from him. So if I go get it from them, the paperwork that you're supposed to, You're supposed to sit a bad that you requested.
I'm asking you to go get me public documentation.
From me.
I'm asking you to get me public documentation. He tried to bring me a piece of paper that they typed up themselves. That's not public information. That's something that they typed up. That's why I did not accept it from him, because it's not a legal documentation.
Technically, it is.
This is no.
It is.
Them typing it up on a piece of computer paper is not a legal document.
If they type up a paperwork saying that you're not to come to their business,
When I was never in their business, then yeah, I'm not accepting shit.
I don't argue with you that against, okay? Mr.
That's fine.
But I'm just sitting there saying if they want.
Oh, we got Dragon Ball Z. I like that. Yeah, you see Akira Toriyama just died a couple weeks ago. The creator, he just died a couple weeks ago. Yeah, man, so sad, bro.
If they don't want you there and they express to you in written form that they don't want you there, it is illegal.
No.
It is, sir.
You would hand me. Thank you. But yeah, you would actually hand me like a written trespass notice from the police department or something.
I can't trespass you from somebody else.
I know. That's why that's not legal documentation.
They can trespass you. That's what it is. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
But I wasn't there. They can ask that I not come back to their place.
It doesn't matter there or not. They still can trespass you from coming there. You don't have to actually go there for them saying, hey, I don't want this person in my business.
Okay, so right now I want to file a trespass notice on Tony Warner. I don't want him anywhere near me or my business.
Write it up.
Yep. Give me a pen.
I don't have a pen.
I'll go get one. I'll write that shit up right now. I'll write that motherfucker. I'll write that motherfucker up right now. I'm going.
What's the form you want? We're trying to get the form for you now.
I've said it 7 times. If she came out and opened the door like a normal employee, I would have given it to her. 2024 Competitiveness Red Book. For the 20th time, I've said what I need. That's fine. I'm getting a pen. Because now I was suggested to write up a document. Sorry, bro. Oh, shit. Unnecessary. Hey, can I borrow one of these pens real quick? Can I have one of these pens real quick, please? I got to write something on this. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. I'll bring it right back. Perfect. Sorry, sir. I'm going to need to use this real quick. Oh, it's not going to stay. They told me to write on a piece of paper that I didn't want this guy anywhere near me or my stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. No, it's for, they printed it out for the public. The 2024 competitive. Sir, ma'am, I have a lawyer telling me what documents to ask for. I know I'm not retarded.
Ma'am, 1 second. That's okay. If you give me, I'm trying to get the paperwork. If you can go around now and see if I can get the paperwork.
All right.
Okay?
Well, tell him stop lying.
All right. Well, I ain't got. I don't have.
Hey, tell him stop lying. Competitiveness Red Book. Yeah. They have one for the public. Ma'am, I got a lawyer telling me what to ask for.
Okay. All right.
You guys have documentation for the public. Sir, there's a lawyer telling me that it's there. It's there.
Okay.
It's there. I'll just have to sit and wait until they give it to me. I'll just have to sit and wait until they give it to me. So I'm not dumb. I know they have it. Six Oaks, they're trying to tell me that they don't pass that out to the public, that they don't have any documents for the public. Want Tony Warner to stay the fuck away from my shit. Want Tony Warner to stay the fuck away. Sorry, my handwriting's horrible. I'm writing on a wall with one hand trying to hold the paper and write.
Oh, sorry. I'm busy. I got to reach out to this guy. People supposed to have been here today, too.
Shit, now I'm gonna have to get a new copy of this fucking form too from Miss Rose. Here you go, sir. Here's my trespass notice from Mr. Tony Warner.
You're gonna have to sit up there and get in contact with Mr. Warner.
Well, why?
So where is Mr. Warner?
Ask him.
So where is he?
Where is he, sir? Where's the guy that gave you that piece of paper, Davis? Here, go give him mine, Davis. Like, I'm literally just asking for a piece of paper, bro.
All right, Mr. Terrence.
Yes, sir.
Farmers people say they're not gonna, don't have any paperwork to give you that's for the public. You don't have any understanding.
But why are they lying to me,
You don't
though?
have any understanding or business to be inside this public, in
Well-
this private building.
But why are they lying to me,
Okay, I
sir?
don't know if they're lying to you or not.
I do, actually. I have to go give this lady her pen back. I have to give her her pen back.
Okay, go give her your pen back and then we're gonna be
And-
exiting.
Maybe I'll speak to her when I'm down here. Maybe I'll have some more business and grab some more public information when I'm down here.
You're actually causing a public disturbance.
I'm not causing disturbance. I'm not causing a disturbance. I'm not loud. I'm not obstructing anybody. I'm not loud. I'm not obstructing anybody. Please don't come in here causing a scene.
Thank you very much. Do you have any more like public, like these documents? Can I take these home and fill these out, please, if I have to fill them out here? I get them awesome. I'll wait till they're done. I want to put them on paper.
I'll wait till they're done and then I'll grab them. I don't want to put you nice folks on camera.
Hold on, let me see that. Yes, it's not with that company. This
I'm
is-
trying to say it's a private building, but yet there's public offices that you come and get fucking services and shit in. So no, it's not a private building. Literally not private. It's not a private building.
It's a private building that.
Yeah, they lease it out to the public. You're right. So these offices are public property, sir.
They're not.
Yeah, they are. They're leased out to the public. That's how that works.
Let me let you, come on, let's go move your cup so you don't get sticky. Well, you know that. Come on. No, he don't be there that long. Come on, let's go.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't want to sit here any longer, and apparently I'm causing a disturbance. So I'm just going to take a copy of these, and I'll just go on home and fill them bad boys out when I get there.
No worries,
Appreciate just let me use the pen today and stuff like that.
not a problem.
Hope I gave you guys some good entertainment for a Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, I'm back here minding my.
See, that's the way it should be. I appreciate you. She's smart. She's the smartest one in this whole building. I don't know. Maybe I do want to fill them out here. Maybe I should fill them out here. Yeah, I think I will, actually. I think I will sit and fill these documents out, actually. This is not legal business. One of y'all mind hold this for me? Do one of y'all hold this for me? No? All right. It'd be a lot easier to write this. Let's see. Let's read it first. How dare they try to say I'm causing a disturbance by asking for public documentation? How dare they? Sadly, you guys, I only got 6% left on my phone. So, I won't be here for too long because we know as soon as the live stream goes off, they'll try and violate my rights and arrest me and take the camera and delete the footage so that there was never any evidence of what happened when they actually arrested me. Mr. Johnson might not. He don't seem like that kind of guy, but Mr. Davis would. That motherfucker a loose cannon. Look at him. Look how mad he is, bro. Look how salty he is, bro. That is the definition of salt. That is sea salt, my boy.
Mr. Turner, you gonna fill that paperwork?
Yeah, I'm filling it out, sir. I'm filling it out. You see me filling it out? I'm reading them.
You was actually chastising Officer Davis instead of filling out the paperwork.
I'm just talking to someone in the public lobby, sir. I'm not chastising him. I'm speaking to him.
Oh, you was chastising him, sir, but go ahead.
I mean,
Paperwork, please, and thank you.
that's your opinion.
No, that's fact.
That's your opinion.
Now you're doing nothing, just video me, which is fine. I don't care.
I can also read in my peripheral vision. I'm reading this paper right now. See? The glasses. It's got a you know how they have bifocals? I got a trifocal up top, and it actually reflects what's down the bottom up into it, and it helps me see like a mirror. You know what I'm saying? I know that threw me off to the little Japanese style door. But yeah, let's see. Request for no parking signs, no refunds. So this is what you guys would fill out like. I assume when they have like Navy games or boat show, and the parking, the tourism down here is crazy at that time, like October during boat show or during the Navy football games, things like that. So I'm sure this is the no parking signs that you would request to put up in front of your yard if you have like a private area. I'm assuming.
No, it's for public areas too.
You can put it on a public area too.
Yeah, that's right there, meter parking, meter space, which is a public space.
Oh, that.
So you're 100% correct. It is for that.
I was right the first time. Gotta trust my gut, you know? I turn the GoPro back on, but yeah, I only got 4%, you guys, so I don't think I'm gonna sit here and fill all these out because I don't feel like having my rights infringed upon as soon as the live stream dies. So maybe we'll just take these home and check them out there. Sad.
You're also more than welcome to request NPIA request for my body cam footage, which I'm not going to turn off until you actually come finish with this call. So you'll be on the whole time as well. So if you want to use that for future references, you can.
Cool. Will it have the owner's name when you were talking on the phone upstairs?
I'm not going to give you that, sir. I already said I told you you request everything else and you see everything.
What I'm saying, was that information on your body camera? Was that information on your body camera? You were on the phone.
I don't know if it was or not. I couldn't tell you.
Gotcha.
I was on the phone. I couldn't tell you.
Gotcha.
Hello. Yeah, I'm still here.
He said you're detained. We ain't detained. We ain't doing nothing. We do whatever we want. I'll go sit back down in that office. Tell whoever that is on the phone, fuck off. I'll go sit back down in that office right now.
He's doing his auditing thing.
I'll go sit right back down in that office right now. Who is that? Who's that on the phone?
That's pretty much it.
Who you got on the phone, bro?
Yeah, he is here for legal purposes.
Yeah, legal purposes. Absolutely. You goddamn right.
We're walking out the front door now.
You goddamn right. I'm here for legal purposes.
All right.
You goddamn right. I'm gonna go charge my phone and come right back over this motherfucker. Watch me. I'm gonna go charge my phone and come right back over here, bruh. How long you think it'd take my phone to charge? What y'all want to say, like 45? Meet you back over here? 45?
You Awakening Wonders, thank you for joining me for Stay Free with Russell Brand today. A day that will live large in the memory of all freedom lovers, because we've got fantastic news. Finally, Rumble and Elon seem to be finding ways to work together in the Principality and Continent Nation of Australia that are becoming peculiarly draconian. And we'll be addressing that over the course of the next hour before introducing Michael Schellenberger, significant voice in the censorship industrial complex space, who has educated many of us as to the threat that we currently face. Quiet in the gallery, if you don't mind, guys. Bring the voices down, if you don't mind, so that I don't hear you. Just remember that I'm very, very susceptible to distraction. Now, the first part of the show will be available exclusively Well, no, actually, the first part of it is ubiquitously available. We're broadcasting it across the planet. But after 15 minutes, we're going to be on Rumble. And aren't you starting to sense that that's the way the world is going? That in the end, we'll have to always be on Rumble if we're interested in freedom. Perhaps some alliance between Rumble and X might be a possibility. And happy St. George's Day to you all. Welcome in particular to you Awakened Wonders. Thank you so much for joining us there. You know, every single week we make an exclusive video for our community, as well as galvanizing and mobilizing each other towards a spiritual revolution, because we read books on spirituality. We meditate every single week together. We are getting ready. We're doomsday prepping, baby. We're doomsday prepping. And what better way to toast sweet Armageddon and the rapture that will likely follow than by using one of these mugs? So get yourself one of these little darlings. Every single penny that we make from this stuff, by the way, we use to support people with addiction issues, alcohol and drug and mental health issues, get them right into treatment centers. If you want to become an Awakened Wonder, use the code I Surrender. And for the next month, you can just decide whether or not you like it there. Get yourself into a community in the holy name of St. George. Now, we've got to slay the dragon, don't we? We've got to slay the limbic system, don't we? We've got to overcome the lizard mind, don't we? We've got to overcome the serpentine demonic forces that appear to be governing the world somehow, whether it's allegorical, metaphorical, or literal, we do not yet know. But the British people, and in particular the English, are at the very forefront. You can rely on the English to bring about sublime realms amidst the reptilian.
England! Come on, England! Tell us something your mum doesn't know. Yeah.
Oh. Well, there you go. Happy St. George's Day to you all. Do you know what I miss mostly about Michael Jackson? Not the music, not the movement, not the creation of the moonwalk, but Neverland, or as some people called it, Sometimes Land. That theme park has been brought back to life. I mean, what's going on there? Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch has been rebuilt and refurbished. It's complicated, isn't it? The whole myth and magic of Michael Jackson, because there's a new film about him and they're going to have to resurrect the old play park, as we call it, in order to, I suppose, provide sets. His nephew, Jafar Jackson, will be playing Michael Jackson. It's going to be an interesting one to narrativize. I love Michael Jackson. That's basically my position, but it seems that there's some complicated matters to contend with. Whereas global politics and who should be the president of the United States is a simple one, young Skywalker. I think that's how I'm going to frame that. Donald Trump is the worst president we've ever had. Joe Biden is the best president we've ever had. I've been thinking about that for a while. Is it a Cohen? Is there something we're missing? Snail Me on the Rumble chat says, now Epstein Ranch. Oh, dear, oh God, dear Lord. Dear Lord above. There's no Epstein Island anymore, right? So get the theme park going. JG, the web guy, says it's going to be called Pedoland. Well, these are crazy times we are living in. The opening statements have been issued in are you allowed to, not say historic Trump trial? Are you able to say potential lawfare against an opponent of the establishment? Are you allowed to call it that? In any event, you're supposed to call it historic. When are we going to stop saying X, formerly known as Twitter? That's one of the things I'll be asking as well. Let's have a look at the opening statements in the Trump trial that might not be particularly historic. You let me know in the chat.
Day one of the Trump trial came to an abrupt end at 12:30 p.m. and you'll never believe why. An alternate juror got a toothache and had to go to the dentist.
No judge is going to keep someone with a toothache listening to testimony.
The trial began here at the criminal courthouse in downtown Manhattan with opening statements, and Trump's attorney came out swinging. Todd Blanche branded porn star Stormy Daniels an opportunist and a liar, saying her false allegations she had an affair with Trump were sinister. Opening statements can be crucial. Studies show that 80% of jurors make their minds up on their verdict after hearing them.
Stormzy! Why, Stormzy? Why? We'll get to some impartial perspective eventually. We've got some great stories coming up later in the week. We're looking at the contentious issue of abortion and how it relates to decentralization. You are going to love hearing that piece. Don't miss it. It will be first available on that sweet stream of freedom. Now, we're all looking at the Trump trial. We're trying to work out, is it lawfare? Is it that the judiciary is being deployed in order to bring down a political opponent of a leader that's becoming increasingly authoritarian? All the while, the world at large is becoming more sensorial. Thank God we've got Michael Schellenberger coming on the show to explain to us why Canada, Australia, Ireland, the UK, the EU are all imposing new extraordinary laws that seem to be designed to control your freedom to speak and to shut down your free speech. But for us to get a perspective we can rely on, we need someone that always shoots from the hip, that's never afraid to lose their grip, that always relies on a little bit of lip. It's the clarion of truth. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Maddow.
I was at the courthouse today in Manhattan. I was in the courtroom for opening statements for this first criminal trial of the former president. I can report firsthand that the courtroom smells like old soup and stale breath. I can report that the police officers who police the courtroom are working very hard and they appear to be very stressed. I can report that Judge Merchan is soft-spoken and has what I think would be universally...
This is the news now, is it? This is the news, the sort of relaying of a subjective experience accompanied by a pastel drawing of what is apparently justice. This is the establishment we're supposed to be clinging to. This is the world that we're supposed to be supporting. This is the vision that they are giving us. Hearken to the inner voice within you that is telling you that a new power is on the rise. Hearken to the voice within you that tells you that they know their days have numbered, that we are on the precipice of rising up. This is the day. Surely this is the day. Surely Rachel Maddow she's off point on some of this stuff. Hey, did you see that RFK's candidacy is more likely to be deleterious to Donald Trump than Joe Biden? Let's have a look at that. There you go. There's some pictures of how that works, and it's the big reason is that you're more likely to vote for RFK if you're sort of predisposed to Trump than if you were sort of a Biden person. I guess that I don't know if you were. I try and work this out using fast food joints. Is KFC more damaging to Burger King or McDonald's? I don't know. I don't know how it all works. But what I will say is that every single Kennedy has been trotted out in order to condemn him. Like, have you seen this? Like, is this the one? Is it number 10? That's the Kennedys.
RFK Jr. is, as you know, the most radical left candidate in the race. This
is it. That's your man there.
Nearly every single grandchild of Joe and Rose Kennedy supports Joe Biden.
What is it that, like, grandchildren is... I want to, please... Won't someone please tell me, what do the grandchildren think on this? I don't care what grandchildren think about anything. Them little nitwits. And also, look at the Kennedys there, just all lined up there behind the establishment. Nice. Elsewhere, the endorsement appears to be somewhat equivocal.
Don't do it. Vote for Trump. Excuse me, vote for Biden.
No, sorry. Which one is it? Now, just don't vote for the person I'm actually related to. Vote for Trump. I mean, Biden. Biden's the one I like. Vote Biden, for heaven's sake. Now, if you are watching us on YouTube, we got to leave you now because the sweet sound of freedom is about to rain down upon you abundantly. Michael Schellenberger is joining us on the show. If you want to become Start the Clock, if you want to become an Awakened Wonder, use the code I Surrender. We'll give you 1 month free. Now, the second we get over to Rumble, we are going to be talking about Australia going on the attack, bringing down your free speech. What is happening in the great nation of Australia, where it used to all be laissez-faire and koalas give you chlamydia and didn't you enjoy Crocodile Dundee? And now it's all about censorship. If you're watching us on YouTube, click the link in the description. Get on over to Rumble, who are opposing this right now, and we'll tell you how this works. Click the link. Okay, guys, now, before we get into it, you are going to need to stay well in this crazy world. This crazy world where a pandemic could be around the corner at any moment. Who knows how they're going to unleash the next assault on your freedom? Well, you better get ready, baby. The Wellness Company is assisting you in your preparedness. Here they are. We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners. The Wellness Company are some of my favorite partners. Will your doctor even prescribe you ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine? Hey, I did it. The wellness company's prescription contagion emergency kit is unique, providing carefully selected effective medications for COVID-19 and respiratory illnesses. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine brand to save $30. Biden's leg hair or Trump's head hair. I offer this conversation, this dilemma to the chat. You can contemplate that and work it out among yourselves as we turn our attention immediately to censorship in Australia. When did Australia become so censorial? We asked you a little earlier what you think's going on. Worldwide censorship is coming. Many Western countries are falling, but who's next? The United States, Europe, or the entire globe dominated by a centralized global government, but claim they're here to help us with the happy refrain, you'll own nothing and be happy. Many of you went for the final option, but a significant number of you fought that the United States would be next to fall. It's interesting to see new alliances like this one emerging. Chris Pavlovsky from Rumble, Elon Musk from X, formerly known as Twitter. You have to say that, don't you? Every single time it's ever mentioned, on the subject of increasing censorship in Australia. Rumble has received censorship demands from Australia, New Zealand, and other countries that infringe on everyone's human rights. We are noticing a dramatic increase in global censorship, unlike anything we've seen before. Elon Musk, of course, agrees. Elon Musk is being attacked, condemned, decried across Australia. Let's have a look at some front pages. Look at that. Like, X marks the loser. One of the things I do like about Australia is the informality of its institutions, its media. Like, look at that. Look at the font of that headline, the West Australian. Like, they see themselves as a kind of New York Times or a Washington Post or a London Times. We're serious. This is the news. This is all the news that's fit to print. Mate, Elon Musk, we're going to X him out. We're going to X him right out, you bastard. Look at him. He's a loser. He's forced to eat his words. Now, what's amazing is how to an Australian population, the legacy media, as it's always done, is selling them problems that pejoratively affect them as solutions. This Elon Musk advocating for free speech, someone should shut him down. It's your free speech that he's advocating for. Now, of course, there was the horrific attack of Bishop Murray recently that took place in Sydney, but I think you're an adult, right? Can we decide for ourselves whether we're too sensitive to watch the brutal reality of a religious leader being subject to a knife attack, only subsequently to advise us that forgiveness is the solution? Where else do you hear such wisdom conveyed? Do you hear it in the legacy media? Do you hear it in international diplomacy? Oughtn't we be granted examples such as this? Let me know in the chat. I care about what you believe. Here is the legacy media condemning with considerable force, and as is always the case in Australian legacy media, a sort of peculiar dance track, Elon Musk, Rumble, and all freedom-loving, free speech supporting platforms. Because remember, your free speech, your ability to think and communicate is a problem for the globalists. And whether it's Ireland, Australia, Canada, Brazil, it's happening everywhere. That's why I'm so grateful Michael Schellenberger is coming up very soon. Let's have a look at this piece of legacy media propaganda. Let's have a look.
I think the public's had a gutful of these narcissistic billionaires.
They see themselves above the law, and the Australian law here should apply equally in the real world as it does online.
Both sides of politics united against a common enemy, Elon Musk.
This is exactly as I'd expect from X, a disregard.
Both sides united. But we're always told that, aren't we? Do you notice that whenever it's censorship and war, that both sides are united? Both sides were united today to pass C-702, meaning you'll be surveilled to within an inch of your life. Both sides of the House were united today and voted that $95 billion of your taxes will go on to perpetuate unwinnable wars. Both sides of the House were united today. This is Australia, actually, this one. Both sides of the House were united today against that bastard Elon Musk, who believes that you should be able to decide for yourself whether you're offended by something. You don't want to decide for yourself, do you? Wouldn't you like to pay a bunch of taxes and we'll decide for you what you're too stupid to understand?
For the information that they pump into our communities.
The social media platform, formerly known as Twitter, clapping back at demands from Australia's online watchdog, which instructed X to pull down violent and distressing videos and imagery of this week's Sydney church stabbing.
X has now received a demand from the e-Safety Commissioner that X globally withhold these posts or face a daily fine of $7 $785,000. The E-Safety Commission does not have the authority to dictate what content X's users can see globally.
This is absolutely what I expect Elon Musk to do. He doesn't shy away from challenging governments or people he doesn't agree with.
X will remove the content for now, but plans to challenge the order in court, saying it threatens free speech. Musk himself labelling the E-Safety Commissioner the Australian censorship commissar. The coalition now prepared to back Labor's proposed misinformation laws to toughen social media compliance. But as the tech giants rail against Australia's attempts to protect users, do we stand a chance in this David versus Goliath battle?
We've got to protect the users. It's David versus Goliath. Are they saying that Elon Musk is Goliath and the censorship industrial complex is David, the plucky boy king, up against an ogre? Is that what they're literally saying? Now, Elon Musk may not be perfect. I'm sure being a billionaire comes with a whole set of priorities and challenges and biases. But the principle of free speech is an important one. And people that stand up for free speech, in particular people with power and platforms like Elon Musk, like Chris Pavlovsky, have to be applauded. You know, a lot of people went down. Remember how fast YouTube demonetized me at the behest of the centralized government forces that demanded it that day. Remember? Well, Chris Pavlovsky and Rumble, they stood firm. And here, Elon Musk on this issue is an ally. It is important for us to recognize that if we are not going to find ourselves corralled into technological feudal serfdom where we have no power, no ability to communicate, we have to recognize what's happening around these issues. Here is the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, rather casually and colloquially condemning Elon Musk. Now, what I will say I enjoy about this is Australians, like people from where I'm from, Essex to the east of London, use the word bloke. And I do like seeing the leader of a country using that term, even if he plainly is supporting a globalist agenda that legitimizes censorship and the foreclosure of free speech in order to operate at the service and behest of shadowy global organizations that I don't fully understand. Let me know.
Hey, John, how you doing? Where do you guys keep your nutsack? Your nutsack?
You want fresh, or you want canned? You want
Extra salty?
those are going to be down aisle 9.
Aisle 9?
Way down on the left.
Okay, thank you.
Clay County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Hey, we have a weird guy out here. He's holding my nutsack sign.
And he's doing what now?
He's holding a sign that says, "Eat my nutsack."
Okay. And what's he look like?
He's just a big white guy.
Flagler County Sheriff's Office, Ashley, how can I help you?
There's a man holding a sign, and it says on there, "Eat a bag of BICKS."
Clay County Sheriff's Office, Dispatch Wendy speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, I was just calling. There's a man standing on the corner of Boulder Rock and Palm Coast Parkway by Chick-fil-A, and he's holding a big sign that says, "Eat a bag of dicks."
Flagler County Sheriff's Office, Ashley, how can I help you?
Hi, strange report here. There are some vagrants on the side of the Palm Coast Parkway, not far from the Chick-fil-A, with some lewd signs suggesting the drivers eat a bag of dicks.
Clay County Sheriff's Office, Dispatch Wendy speaking. How may I help you?
Hi there. I was just calling. I was driving by the corner of right there at Home Depot and Palm Coast Parkway.
Mm-hmm. Is it reference to the gentleman that has the bag of dicks sign?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, we're aware of it. Unfortunately, it's a freedom of speech, and there's nothing that we can do about it.
Flagler County Sheriff's Service, can I help you?
Yes, hi. I was wondering if somebody could go down. There's a guy that's standing over by Shell and Chick-fil-A.
The guy with the sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's allowed to be there, ma'am. It's a First Amendment right. You know, so I don't have to agree with what we don't have to agree with what he says, but he's got the right to be there. I've already checked myself.
His sign literally says, "Eat a bag of dicks," and he's got arrows.
I understand that. He has the right to say that. I don't have to agree with it.
Right.
Whether I, yes, he does. It's a First Amendment right. It's not something, even if it's vulgar like that. I understand that. And trust me, I know what that means, and I know what that sign says. But it's a First Amendment right, and we're not going to infringe on it.
Flagler County 911, where's your emergency?
Hi, do you have a non-emergency number? Hello?
Yes, this is the sheriff's office. You called 911 but didn't have an emergency. Can I help you?
Has anybody called you about that idiot standing on the corner of Boulder Rock and Palm Coast Parkway with that disgusting sign?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sorry, County Sheriff's Office. This is Stephen. May I help you?
Yes, Stephen. There's a gentleman on Palm Coast Parkway in Boulder Rock, and he is holding a large sign that says, "I love coming," CUNMING. I just wanted to make the sheriff's office aware of this. Not something we want on our streets.
Okay. Unfortunately, there's really nothing that the sheriff's office is going to be able to do.
They can't stop him from holding a sign like that. That's vulgar.
It's freedom of speech, ma'am. It's the First Amendment.
What if they had obscene words, like they had the word they can do that too?
Yes, ma'am. We've received calls on them prior with all the protests and everything, and there's nothing that we can do. It's freedom of speech.
Oh my goodness. I believe in freedom of speech 100%. It's just,
Yeah, 100%.
There's young people, there's older people. I'm middle-aged, but I don't like it, so I worry about the other people seeing it. But thank you very much, and you have a nice day.
Thank you, too.
Flagler County 911, where's your emergency?
Yeah, I don't know how to report this or what the proper channel to go through, but by the Chick-fil-A line.
Are you calling about the gentleman with the sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're aware, and there's nothing that we can do about it. It's his First Amendment right.
So, are you joking me that I can't believe and this guy can stand out there on that corner?
Ma'am, he's basically standing there to entice law enforcement to approach him because he's looking to get a law enforcement member in trouble. So he's standing there doing that so that all the citizens of Palm Coast will call. Yeah, I don't agree with it either, but unfortunately there's not much more that we can do.
I think that's too terrible because Palm Coast is such a sweet little town, and I moved from Jack to get away from these streets. So, oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, it is what it is. You guys
all right. Well, thank you for calling. You too. Bye bye.
Sorry, County Sheriff's Office. This is Stephen. May I help you?
Hey, Stephen. I'm sorry to bother you today. I just have a quick question. I just drove by with my kids on Palm Coast Parkway and Old Kings Road, and there's an old man that has a sign that says, "I love coming." Is that allowed?
Unfortunately, it is because it's freedom of speech.
I completely understand. I just thought I'd ask since I was driving by with my kids, and I was like, I see a lot of signs, but that's pushing it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Dispatch, Heather, may I help you?
Hi, I was just calling. Cypress Point and Palm Coast Parkway. There's a guy standing on the corner with a sign that says, "I love coming."
Yeah, we've already checked out with him. Unfortunately, it's one of those freedom of speech, and there's not anything that we'll be able to do.
Okay.
And really, he's just trying to entice law enforcement. He's, looking for an argument, basically.
What lovely people.
Park County Sheriff's Office, do you have an emergency?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you have an emergency?
No.
Then how can I help you?
Yeah, I was wanting to see if you could do something and send a sheriff up by the corner of Palm Coast Parkway and
Are you calling about the gentleman with the sign?
Yeah, I had my wife and another elderly lady with me, and that's pretty offensive. And he's lucky I didn't have my kids with me, but that's freaking uncalled for.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry, hold on one second. Traffic 16. Unfortunately, sir, there's not much that we can do because of the First Amendment and his freedom of speech. Unless he's out in the road actually blocking traffic, he is allowed to be there.
Really? Because I thought you weren't allowed to go out in public and scream profanities and do things like that to disrupt the flow of traffic and scream
as long as
obscenities.
he's not blocking the road, there's nothing that we can do. We've already had a deputy out with him.
Well, and somebody's going to end up beating his ass, because I tell you what, if I had my kids with me and they started asking me what that was, he'd probably get the freaking lip slapped right off his face.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
it's going to end up causing a bigger problem.
What he's trying to do is bait law enforcement into going out there and creating a confrontation. We've already been out with him. We've talked to him. Unfortunately, we cannot violate his First Amendment. So as long as he's not blocking traffic, there isn't anything we can do about the sign that he's holding.
Well, like I said, that's fine, but it's going to end up somebody's going to get frustrated and knock the crap out of him, and then they'll have to deal with that.
If that were to happen, then that
Begin
person
with.
would be in trouble for physically assaulting somebody. So
Yeah, but some people think it's worth it, so thank you.
you're welcome.
There's a man standing out on the sidewalk holding a sign that says the masturbator. We were told it says the masturbator.
St. County Sheriff's Office, Thompson. There's a guy holding a poster board sign, waving at cars, and it says, "I'm the masturbator." Okay, at the Julington Creek Library? Yes.
That's it. All right, that was funny.
If you guys understand what's going on, where is the power really? Where is it? Let's work it out together, guys.
Well, this is a bloke who's chosen ego and showing violence over common sense. I think that Australians will shake their head when they think that this billionaire is prepared to go to court fighting for the right to sow division and to show violent videos, which are very distressing. He is in social media, but he has a social responsibility in order.
Like that one. Social media, social responsibility. You use the word social twice there. This bloke, that's amazing. I know Australians use that word, bloke, mate. Indeed, it's one of the great legacies of the British working class, this fine St. George's Day. But for an American, that's like if Joe Biden was saying, motherfucker, this motherfucker, he's got to support, you got to stop sowing division, the motherfucker.
To have that social license. And what has occurred here is that the E-Safety Commissioner has made very sensible suggestions. Other social media companies have complied without complaint. But this bloke thinks he's above the Australian law, that he's above common decency. And I tell you,
above common decency. I don't think Elon Musk has ever claimed that. Like, for all of his extraordinary neurological diversity, I don't think Elon Musk has ever said, common decency, to hell with it.
What I say to Elon Musk, that he is so out of touch with what the Australian public want. This has been a distressing time.
What the Australian public want is to be censored. What the Australian public want, what all of the people want of the world, is less freedom, less free speech, more bureaucratic bodies deciding what we can believe in and what we can see and how to raise our children and how to live our lives and what wars to fund and how to organise and when to stay in our house for 6 months or maybe even several years and how to deploy climate change measures to ensure that no globalist corporations are ever penalised, but ordinary individuals everywhere are locked in their homes. That's what we want in Australia, is it? Let me know, because the Sydney police are telling you that they will literally be the source of truth. And if you're not terrified by that declaration, then, well, I mean, I'm going to make you terrified by explaining it to you. And then we're going to go right to Michael Schellenberger. So this is from Reclaim the Net. I want to stress that there is misinformation being communicated across social media. It was 18 part of it. Offering a fresh perspective on the fallout of a recent Sydney stabbing attack and may a speedy recovery to Bishop Murray. And of course, the other victims of the various other mad attacks have expressed their anger and mistrust toward the police, who have insisted they alone should be the arbiter of truth for this incident. These sentiments stem from a press briefing given by New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb last Thursday. Webb, who was sharing information about a 16-year-old male being accused of terrorism following the stabbing of Bishop Mari Emanuel of Christ the Good Shepherd Church, asserted that the police will be the utterly reliable source of updates. She warned against misinformation, but decided not to elaborate on what she was alluding to. That's very rare, isn't it, for people to just use terms like misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, and then not describe what they mean, almost as if they want to keep their options open so that they can then determine what information to censor based on their own agenda. Astonishing. I also want to stress there is misinformation being communicated across social media, and people should not share that information. Don't share it. You're all idiots. None of you can decide anything for yourselves. The source of information should be the police. Of course, no one's ever heard of the police being corrupt or corrupted, and law enforcement authorities. And if people have concerns, they should check our websites. And if you're really scared, just sit down in your house. Do not move a muscle. Put your hands on your thighs and stare at the wall. Eventually, you will die. And then you will maybe know freedom. If we have current credible information about any risk or threat to the community, we will let them know. That's the relationship I want with organizations that I fund. We will share that with the community. But please be assured, the police will be the source of truth and not social media, which, of course, social media, when the FBI and the CIA have infiltrated it, means it's a proxy of the state. And you better believe there are laws being passed right now all across the law to ensure that that's exactly how social media is deployed. But social media is also where you speak. They are trying to protect you from you when they are the biggest threat. This attempt by the Australian police to monopolise control over the narrative of the incident has raised concerns among the online community. Hello, we're the online community about censorship, especially as the government has been pressuring online platforms to censor in recent days. You better believe it, baby. The government has gone so far as telling people to report their fellow citizens' speech to the country's chief censor. Now, you know that C-702 just passed in the United States of America, and they amplified that power. You know what's going on in Brazil. You know what's already happened in Canada and the UK and what's being proposed in Ireland. All across the world, censorship is on the rise, and Australia is about to fall. That is why it's so important that you join us here on Rumble. That is why it's so important that you remain informed, that you remain disobedient, that you remain willing to form alliances with other people from the periphery, that you are not malleable, that you've not been lifed off, that you've not been neutralized, that you've not been controlled. You must remain awake. You must look for new alliances. Thank God that you have joined us here. Thank God that you are present today. Thanks for joining us. And you are going to love this, because I'm moving from this rant into a wonderful conversation with a man who must have been sat here chewing on his knuckles, because he knows a lot more about this subject than I do, considerably more. I mean, many of you know more. But Michael Schellenberger, the investigative journalist and editor of Public on Substack, which you should follow, worked, as you know, with Elon Musk to expose censorship on the Twitter files. He's the author of San Francisco, which is a good name for his book, Why Progressives Ruin Cities. I can see him now. He's wearing a turtleneck. He looks sexy, but by God, do I miss his beard. It's Michael Schellenberger. Thank you for joining us, Michael.
Hey, great to be with you, Russell.
Michael, what do you feel is happening in Australia? How are countries as disparate and distant as Brazil and Australia are operating in such extraordinary concord?
I find myself disoriented again. I mean, we felt like in Brazil, you know, I was supposed to be in Brazil for 5 days. I stayed for 12 because after we released the Twitter files, Brazil, I had to stick around and do a lot of interviews. And I mean, we became, you know, I was traveling with a member of Congress who's also been fighting for free speech, and we'd be stopped in the airport, stopped on the streets. People wanted to take selfies. It was a huge story in Brazil. The media beat up on me for like 5 days. And then last Sunday, I guess a week ago Sunday that I was leaving, finally the media came out and said, hey, censorship bad. So I kind of left Brazil thinking, all right, like we can make progress against censorship when we expose it and we make the case for free speech, allowing people to be wrong on the internet. And then I come back and it's like, here we go into Australia, you know, and now we see Ireland is back demanding more censorship laws. The EU is continuing to press ahead. You know, obviously Scotland had happened. So, I mean, honestly, Russell, I am continue to be surprised by the relentlessness with which the pro-censorship politicians continue to press this agenda. I can't believe it's that popular. I really don't. I think that actually in Brazil, we saw the president start to sort of back away from it. They've had an uneasy relationship with it. I don't think people like censorship. I don't think the public wants censorship. So yeah, I start to wonder, like, who is pushing these politicians to continue to demand this? It appears as though the censorship industrial complex is very powerful, has huge hidden influence. Is it all coordinated at some level internationally? I don't know. I mean, literally, like last week, you may have seen they shut down a conservative gathering in Brussels. They sent the police in to shut a gathering down in Brussels. Is that all sort of coordinated at some level? I don't know, but it's amazing to me how relentless these guys are in demanding censorship.
Do you feel that different nations require different tactics, nudges, and contextualization to become obedient to measures that are clearly antithetical to their interests? In Brazil, are there cultural techniques that would not work in Australia? Of course, the pandemic period granted ubiquity of tactics to keep all of you safe wherever you are. We're going to have to censor misinformation. We now know that a good deal of that misinformation was, well, just flat out true. Do you think that anything can be gleaned or discerned from the different methods to elicit the conditions for censorship in Ireland, Brazil, Australia, for example?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think we have a lot more understanding of the tactics that the censorship industrial complex uses around the world. So one thing we saw in research really coming from 2017, right after the revolutions of the populist uprisings, 2016, 2017, they started hiding censorship initiatives as cybersecurity. So they'd be like, well, we're doing cybersecurity, and of course that involves fighting misinformation. And you're like, wait, what? Like, those two things actually have nothing to do with each other. We're now seeing them do that with child exploitation, which is really gross, because in the same way that, like, you want to fight cyber crime, like you want to fight, hackers and people invading your internet, and you want to also fight child exploitation. Everybody's in favor of that. They then go and say, well, we're also then going to start to fight extremism. Well, wait a second. What's extremism? What's extremism is a matter of opinion. So they start to they basically abuse their authority, and they move the line. So that's one of the first things they do. The second thing they do, and we saw this with the EU already, and then also in Ireland, but now we see in Australia, these governments are not just demanding that you be censored in their country. They're demanding, according to Elon's, what he wrote on X about this, they want to see the stuff censored everywhere. So they want X to take it down from everywhere. Well, why is that? Well, one reason might be that, you can evade your own country's censorship through what's called a VPN, or virtual private network. And that's what millions of Chinese do to get around their firewall. But so just imagine a world where you have all these governments demanding stuff gets taken down globally. The VPNs don't work anymore. So you literally are in a totalitarian system at that point, where it's being completely controlled. So, I see those as two big tactics that these guys are using. It's really trying to control the whole internet, not just your own country, so you can prevent the VPN, so people really aren't getting it.
Everybody has a learning curve.
And then also hiding censorship activities as either cyber or child exploitation.
Brilliant. So they find hot button topics in much the same manner that in domestic politics you may deploy arguments in the United States, for example, around abortion or gun control to create polarization. Now, I will mention, sir, I felt incredibly patronized when you unpacked to me what a VPN was when I work in the online media space and have to do a VPN advert about every 15 seconds. You have to mention one of those things. Like, what's that, Michael? What is this wizardry? Behold!
I always think of, look, I'm not for you. I always think of, like, the people that I know in my life that don't know what a VPN is. So maybe some of your audience don't know, but yes, you've probably been, since we've been advertising VPNs. It's a great advertisement for VPNs, but of course they won't work if these guys are able to censor the whole internet.
Yes, it's extraordinary the degree of overreach that's implied by that measure. Now, I wonder, Michael, about the challenges that or otherwise be surmounted through an alliance between figures like Elon Musk and Chris Pavlovsky that might otherwise be seen as competitors in some regards. I mean, one of the challenges, the obvious challenges, is that X want people to stay on that platform in order to service advertisers. Of course, we on Rumble want people to be on Rumble. You have an allegiance to Substack. So how do we put aside perhaps economic and commercial interests in order to address these significant free speech issues?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really important question. I mean, I think that, you start to, I think one of the things that when they overreach, obviously, it creates a broader alliance of people that have an interest in protecting free speech. So obviously those two do. Rumble had to leave Brazil, So, I mean, what happened with Brazil was, and by the way, there's a lot to unpack with Brazil, but I show up in Brazil for a free speech.
Or did you go to the side?
My Brazilian friend said, hey, can you see if there's any Twitter files? We found this crazy stuff. We published it.
It's not.
And I think that the most important thing to realize about
you not being able to enter the building
is that so first of all, one thing is that the censorship industrial complex is located in the judiciary. That's different. Most other countries,
if they're late, it's not your fault.
In the executive branch in
Britain, and if it causes you where you have to function late,
and then of course it's trying to move it to try to kind of outsource it, do censorship laundering through NGOs. But the other thing that was important about it, Russell, was that these guys would, they'd go, I'll give one example. This congressman who I was traveling with, who I had met as a free speech advocate in London, he said, they went to, the government said, here's these posts which are election misinformation. Well, first of all, they weren't about the elections at all. It was actually had to do with the Labor Department. It wasn't misinformation. It was also, they said, he's misrepresenting election results. It was the day before the election. So first of all, the government was using misinformation to try to censor him. He never put it on Twitter. They went to Twitter and said, take it down. Twitter said, we don't have, he never published this on Twitter. And they basically said, go ahead and remove his profile anyway. So basically the whole thing was just pretextual to just depersonifying this member of Congress. And it wasn't just him, it was multiple members of Congress, multiple journalists, where the Supreme Court just went to all of the social media companies, not just one. They go to all of them and they go, take their profiles down. I mean, that's basically, you're destroying, you can't be a journalist or a politician if you don't have social media accounts. It's literally impossible. Forget about it. This is just, everybody knows this. So you're basically, the judiciary in a dictatorial move is deciding who can be a journalist, who can be a politician. It was all secret proceedings, no right of appeal. And, when you look back, we had done something else on an early censorship program called the CTIL League, or the Cyber Threat Intelligence League, which was a U.S. government program created by the U.S. government. That was one of the things they put in there, was that they were going to basically demonize individuals. So in fact, there's an article in today's New York Times about Nina Jankowicz, the woman that was behind the so-called Disinformation Governance Board, how she's now created an NGO basically to demonize people. Literally, that's what they say in there. She's going to go get her revenge and attack people she doesn't like. And the New York Times is going to obviously promote this. So you've seen it's a very creepy, dark. It's really dark. These guys are basically identifying individuals. Obviously, you've been there, and they're just going to engage in character assassination with the idea that they're going to deplatform, and that they're now their gloves are off and they're now openly saying that that's what they're going to do.
This is extraordinary. I imagine perhaps that you are referring in part to some of the investigative work by Li Fang, in which he discovered that a CIA carve-out are funding organizations within Ukraine to condemn many online voices, whether it's Jeffrey Sachs, but I was in the mix too, as pro-Putin and pro-Russian propagandists. It's extraordinary to hear that, as you say, Nina Jankowicz has found herself in this extraordinary position, having failed to set up a sort of censorship-friendly misinformation kind of entity in the United States of America. Now, it was a government official, of course, that demanded I be demonetized in the wake of significant media attacks. It's becoming increasingly obvious that the organization, the Trusted News Initiative, that includes not only legacy media outlets like the BBC and CNN, New York Times, but also tech giants like Alphabet, Google, are seemingly now regarding independent media as their true opponents rather than one another. The days of competing for scoops is over for a whole host of reasons that you understand better than I do as a journalist. Certainly, it doesn't matter who breaks a story now in particular, unless they're able to control that information and serialize it significantly. What's terrifying to me, Michael, is precisely what you described, the ability to demonize, destroy, and smear individuals. Now, I wonder if we take a few high-profile examples of that, like, most liberals were excited and celebratory when Trump was booted off of Twitter. Most people were kind of happy when Alex Jones was the victim of lawfare and shut down across the internet. And figures like David Icke are sort of routinely censored. Now, do you think it's sort of common practice to attack individuals and that might be sort of soft targets or attractive targets to certain demographics, or certainly to demographics that are broadly in alignment with their agenda, in order to establish a principle and then to sort of roll that out more aggressively and more immersively?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, we're seeing that happening right now. I mean, with Brazil, and this is what, after we did the Twitter files, I think 3 days later, Elon came out and was like, they're asking us to deplatform people. They're asking us to basically depersonify people, delete people from X permanently. And then according to Elon, he was saying the government was wanting X to suggest that it was because they had violated X's terms of service. And this is one of the strategies that we saw them use, is that they lobby to change the terms of service, adding all these particular things, and then they go and create these elaborate censorship organizations. The most famous was the Stanford Internet Observatory, which had 2 initiatives, one in 2020 on elections, the Election Integrity Partnership, another one on 2021 on the Virality Project about COVID, where they were engaged in mass censorship. And that was the whole premise of it, was to basically start to build. And they also had this thing called the Dirty Dozen, where they basically, the demonization is in service of permanent deplatforming. The ultimate goal is to just remove people they don't like from the internet. I mean, it's so shocking when you say it like that, because it's such an obvious violation of free speech, but that's where they're headed. Obviously, like, Elon is amazing, because in Brazil, he was like, we're not going to go along with this. You can't just tell us to remove a bunch of journalists and politicians, from the internet. That's just madness, and it violates Brazilian law. If you read the Brazilian Constitution, it specifically protects against any censorship on political, ideological, or artistic grounds. But yeah, I mean, it's the really dark side of this, is that it's it's really about destroying lives. Like, this is not, I think sometimes we go, oh, well, they're just taking down some content. No, they're actually looking to just ruin people, like literally ruin their careers by getting them off the internet. That's kind of the solution that this has all been driving towards. I think people need to know that that's not a paranoid view anymore. That is the reality of what they're doing. And you're absolutely right. Of course, they start with Alex Jones. They start with people that they think are low-hanging fruit. And then once they establish that predicate, then they kind of go, well, and this person is similar in these ways.
Is part of the aim of this agenda to censor not only certain types of speech, but plainly individuals and perhaps ultimately organizations, likely to influence and indeed control the outcome of some of the elections that are coming up across the world over the course of the year? Now, before you answer that question, I want to let you guys know on Rumble that we're going to be here for another 20 minutes, but then we're going to continue on Locals, our Awakened Wonder platform. And if you post your questions for Michael on Locals, I will put them to him with his kind permission, of course. Now, remember, if you use the code I surrender
I mean, I can get her started,
free, so you could
but I mean,
simply
either way,
cancel
what
at
I
any time.
do
But
is
you get a lot of
I'll
great
do the
content
E-Verify
over
on her.
on locals, like we're reading Mere
Sometimes
Christianity.
it takes months for it
There
to
it is. Look.
come back. But
And we're interviewing fantastic guests, and we're meditating, and we're trying to grow
like it-
together. So we're posting that link along with the discount code right now in the Rumble chat. So join us additionally. But I'm going to continue to talk to Michael for a while on Rumble, one of the few places where we can speak freely. Do you think that these ideas will be used over the course of the year to influence elections?
Well, I get here around noon now.
Yeah, 100%.
So I have to
I mean,
cover
there's a way in which
in the evening.
that is in some ways
noon's good.
the main event. I mean, it's one of the big goals. I mean, I think they're trying to do mind control, as crazy as that sounds. They're really trying to control how people think about things by controlling the information they're allowed to have access to, and also how people make judgments about that information. So it's both censorship on the one hand, and it's also disinformation, or you can call it information operations on the other. We have this new journalist that we've been working with, who's the daughter of a very well-known she's a Czech Republic journalist. She's the daughter of a well-known Czech Republic dissident, an artist, not as famous as Václav Havel, but sort of, a colleague of his. And she discovered that basically the Polish and Czech intelligence services, working with EU politicians, had claimed to have discovered this Russian disinformation operation that was aiming to bribe European politicians. Well, she went and asked a bunch. She went and interviewed all the, reached out to everybody that was accused. They all denied that they had been bribed by the Russians. The governments have presented no evidence of this conspiracy theory. We reached out to one of the accused, a website called Voice of Europe, as being part of this conspiracy. There's no evidence. There's no arrests. It appears to be a completely invented disinformation campaign by the European Union officials, including the head of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen. None of whom we've emailed them many times, asked them about this. Well, what's the purpose of it? Well, the whole point was to basically create the idea that right-wing populist parties in Europe, whatever your view is on these parties, again, but they were trying to create the view that these parties were controlled by Russia. So it's like what's so amazing, Russell, is that the tactics might differ from Ireland to Scotland to Czech Republic to European Union to Brazil to Canada, the United States, but the messages are the same, which is that if you're a populist, you're actually a COVID denier, you're full of hate, you're spreading misinformation, and you somehow are working for the Russians. So all of the Russia hoax stuff that they did against Trump, it's not like they were like, oh, I guess we got to move on from that. They just keep doing it. And they're doing it again in Europe. So, yeah, to answer your question, and then you're kind of like, why are they doing it? Well, because Europe's having elections on June 9th, right? They're worried in particular about this conservative party in Germany called AfD, which is like, if you read their information, like this is a Nazi party. But actually, the party has a policy agenda that's very similar to the Republican Party, at least under Trump. And so, but they basically used all the exact same playbook, saying it's Russian, it's fascist, it's full of hatred. They have a whole fake fact-checking website called Corrective, which has spread misinformation that we've documented. So, I mean, I will say, we were talking about this a year ago. So how have we done? I feel like we're catching up to them. With this particular story, this Czech Republic, Polish, European Union, Russian disinfo story, I feel like we've done I think 3 stories on it now, and they've just been quiet about it. And they kind of sometimes go, well, we're looking into it and we're going to have this investigation. But I just get the sense that they got called out on it from us, and they're going to kind of try to move on. But it is just striking. These guys they're relentless. I mean, I feel like it's Terminator 2, and they you feel like you just knocked the guy out, and then he comes back up, and he's like coming after you, chasing after you again. They are not giving this up. They're really relentless in their demands to censor the entire internet everywhere in the world. Are they working together? Hard to know. I can't say that they are, but it's so suspicious, all these things popping up at exactly the same time.
Yes, it's difficult to corroborate, but given the way that they reconstitute with a seemingly comparable aim, there appears at least the silhouette of conspiracy, it seems to me, Michael. And it's difficult to imagine that there aren't conversations taking place along the lines of, if we are not able to curtail and control online information, we are going to lose control. The previous control that was asserted through centralized media, that it appears has always had a favorable relationship with the state, other than anomalous events and stories. It appears that a group like the New York Times are broadly supportive of the government agenda. Even if you take a couple of recent examples, like their apparent involvement in the arrest of that lad Jack Teixeira, they seem to be involved in his arrest. And of course, the CIA bases in Ukraine, the CIA granted the New York Times that extraordinary access. And we're starting to see sort of key players, names that ought not be known by people in spaces like this. Not necessarily you, Michael, you're a proper journalist, but I know the names of people like Victoria Nuland cropping up like some Antichrist Zelig throughout history, or Ursula von der Leyen, who it seems was in text communication with Albert Bourla at the height of the pandemic, ordering vaccines by the million. On that point, it seems that the WHO treaty has been, to a degree, opposed by the level of coordination that has been achieved precisely because of the success of independent media, that in real time people are saying, whoa, 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 this clause would enable them to, in the event of what would be deemed a climate emergency, to override your nation's government and impose lockdowns and vaccines and control information. It's odd how frequently information is at the heart of these arguments, but to a degree it is encouraging, like with your example about the EU, or certainly the organization around Ursula von der Leyen, that there appears to be some fear.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, it's like, I feel like we're just hanging by a thread on some ways, but it's like, as long as X can remain a free platform, as long as Elon Musk remains the owner of X and remains strong, I think we have a good shot at surviving this. I mean, you kind of look back and you go, they weren't able to stop television, radio, telegraphs, the printing press. I mean, the printing press, when Gutenberg's printing press shows up and you're able to have, I mean, it's basically the exact same thing that's happening now. It's peer-to-peer communication, or what the New York Times calls peer-to-peer misinformation. You know, it was like the printing press allowed for ordinary people to talk to each other, interpret the Bible, interpret Christianity the ways they wanted to. It led to Protestantism, and it led to, I mean, we look back now and we go, it was inevitable that the printing press was going to change things. But I mean, it had huge impacts. I mean, governments fell, there were wars and revolutions. So I think that this early internet that we had pre-Musk, I mean, we know from the Twitter files, Twitter was a controlled organization. It was controlled by the deep state. I mean, that's just proof. I mean, the former deputy director of the FBI, the former chief counsel of the FBI, they were there to run an information operation, and they did against the Hunter Biden laptop and probably much more. And now you've got a situation where you've got a guy that's powerful enough, and Elon Musk is saying, no, we're going to allow free speech. And that's so, like, revolutionary. I mean, it's so radical. And you can see the media is just going crazy because they felt like they controlled X for the longest time.
I obviously can't take.
Now they don't, and so I mean, it really though. There's some mornings, Russell, I wake up and I'm like, oh no, free speech is going to win out. I mean, come on, guys, we've been doing this for hundreds of years. People want free speech. Other mornings I wake up and I go, the state is so powerful. I mean, the governments around the world are so powerful. And all the stuff that people have said, oh, is a conspiracy theory, like the World Economic Forum declaring misinformation to be the biggest problem in the world. And you see the same cast of characters that go to those meetings, then saying, oh, we have to, censor the entire internet, not just here in Australia.
Well, it was for my
little Ireland saying, oh, we have to be able to go into your home. And Scotland saying, we're gonna monitor comedians. I mean, they're just so relentless and so out to kind of control the internet that sometimes I just go, it's terrifying. If you lose X, and Rumble had to leave Brazil. It couldn't afford. I mean, and X may still be banned in Brazil. I also wanted to say, because I've done a lot on Brazil. I feel like I buried the lid a little bit. I am under investigation in Brazil. I am in a police investigative report in Brazil, along with the ideas that I'm part of some international conspiracy. It's so bonkers and ludicrous. But literally, there I am in a federal police report, which is basically Brazil's equivalent of their FBI. suggesting some nefarious activity because I tweeted out the Twitter files. And this is literally the thought police of Brazil. There's even a shot of my profile on X which says defund the thought police. I thought that was a moment of humor there, that the thought police had the defund the thought police in their report. But I mean, this is how crazy it is that literally the police are actually monitoring our communications and trying to figure out whether I'm going to be prosecuted, which could still happen along with the prosecution of Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. We've put that asset up now, Michael. You might not know because you don't understand much about technology and Zoom and VPNs and the internet, but we're actually able to put that up. So what precisely are you being accused of?
I mean, it's the craziest. This is the one I will say. I mean, they often so first of all, there's just no sense of humor, among the totalitarians. It's like you can kind of go, all the fun is in the free speech movement. The totalitarians are very serious people. They're also I think one thing we forget is how they're not very bright, and that might reassure you, but it shouldn't.
Don't take a lot
they'll do something dumb and then they'll. But yeah, I mean, they basically have got this crazy conspiracy theory.
Even imagined it.
I made very clear I never have asked Elon Musk either for permission. I've never even told him in advance before we publish a Twitter files. He had no idea that I was publishing the Brazil Twitter files. We've had Elon and I have more interaction publicly on X than we do behind the scenes. So there's just no there, but the implication is that there was sort of a conspiracy to spread hatred and misinformation in Brazil to help the right wing of
you said
Brazil.
I'm not continuing to send them.
But nonetheless they created this report to create a suspicion and potentially justification for prosecution, which again, we could find out about any day now.
Yes, it's pretty staggering, the confidence with which these attacks are conducted. It is redolent of how old media used to behave when creating division in domestic populations through print and getting, as they say, turkeys to vote for Christmas, whether it was pro-war measures or creating tension among different ethnicities of ultimately economically united communities. I wonder, Michael, if you believe that these kind of spaces are going to survive the division that has ensued from the new fractures around the subject of free speech, emergent from, in particular, the conflicts in the Middle East. What was starting to happen was a consolidation around the principles of free speech and, to a degree, anti-war in what are now known as, independent media or alt-right communities. But even that has become fraught and rife with decision. And before you answer, Michael, remember, guys, we're going to wrap the show up now on Rumble, and we are going to take our conversation over to locals where our awakened wonders like Chico Kid and Sensitive Hearts 2525 are awaiting to pose their questions to Michael Schellenberger. Remember, you can join us live on Friday's show for Dr. Colonel Douglas McGregor. We'll be talking about the military-industrial complex. And if you want to join us over there, we're posting the link right now with the code I Surrender. You get a month free. You can join us for book clubs, meditations, because if we don't find God, we are in a lot of trouble. Surely you would agree with that, Michael, that there has to be a spiritual component to such an extraordinary problem. After all, we're witnessing through online technology a kind of new type of omnipotence, and who harvests and colonizes this new prima materia that is as close to consciousness as any previous technological advance, as I can speculate, is the very fight that we're involved in.
It's been a while since I've done it that way. I did learn it, and it did come back to me on how to pull
a spiritual pursuit. I think it's for universal human betterment.
Doing everything.
I respect Brazil and its borders and its constitution. I respect all countries and their sovereignty. I also think all human beings have a right to speak their minds and have access to information. So I do view this as a universal movement, and I think that this effort by a small, very small group of deeply uptight and neurotic and power-mad individuals to control the whole internet.
Yes,
it's really dark. It's really sinister. Their willingness to destroy people. I think there's something psychopathological in that. I think that this idea that somebody says something that you don't agree with, whether it's about the war in Ukraine or about COVID or about climate change or trans or whatever it would be, the healthy response from a healthy individual is to say, no, I don't agree with that. I'm going to disagree with that publicly and make my views known. That's not what they're doing. They're saying, I can't stand that so much. I'm full of so much hatred. I'm going to shut that person down. I think if that's your instinct, there's something wrong with you. Like literally, I believe that there's something wrong with you in the head if your impulse is to shut other people up. Now you could say, well, that's the national security state. It controlled the conversation between 1945 and 2016, and that's a rational response from the state. Maybe, but I don't think so. I kind of think like we're going to allow for there to be security, and there's going to be intelligence, and there's going to be some amount of protection and militaries and states, and all that's going to continue to exist, along with free speech, along with allowing Russell Brand and Michael Schellenberger to speak and not be censored and not be on a hit list or a blacklist of these pretty awful censorship, industrial complex people and leaders. So I do think that we have to appeal to people's higher selves and appeal to free speech. I found myself in Brazil after we exposed the censorship industrial complex, just making the case for free speech. I mean, I'm always surprised that you have to do it, but I do think that is a bunch of the work that we have to do in front of us.
Thank you so much, Michael Schellenberger. We will continue our conversation. In particular, I'm planning to ask, is it psychopathic and sociopathic in terms of its mentality, or is there something even darker, something almost occultist, some demonic force at work? Sometimes I query that, and sometimes I wonder if that might lead us to the solution. I want to welcome our new members, our new awakened wonders like Grim21 and Charlie Cutler and M Means and Ridiculous, disgusting, and Live in the Light. All of you are welcome, you glorious awakened wonders. And if you're watching us now in the Rumble chat, click the link in the description, get over to Locals and watch me and Michael. We might take our tops off. We're going to express ourselves very, very freely indeed. We've got a fantastic week coming up for you. So join us tomorrow, not for more of the same, but for more of the different. Until then, if you can, stay free. See you in a second over on Locals with Mike. Switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off, switch off.
We should look at that, but I don't care. All right, let's see what else we have.
Why are you talking to me? Why are you recording? If you get closer to this traffic stop, you're going to go to jail.
It's ridiculous, man. People are trying to do an investigation and you don't have a life.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. While pumping gas, a viewer named Kevin witnessed the San Antonio Police Department initiate a stop on another patron buying fuel. Both occupants' phones were taken from them as they were removed from the vehicle and placed in cuffs, just before Kevin began recording.
Your phone is right there on the truck, Dad. They're not letting me get it. Thank you, sir. Did he tell you what you did, Father? He hasn't told you nothing. He just put you over and put you in cuffs, right? He told me.
Kevin continues to record, and Officer Rivas returns moments later.
Can you get out of here?
Can you get out of here or no?
Why are you talking to me?
Why are you recording?
Why are you asking me? Why are you even asking me?
No fucking life, right? Get out of here, dude.
Rivas assigns a backup officer to watch the man with a camera and enters his cruiser. Kevin remains stationary next to his vehicle under the very well-lit structure. This is important later. Nearly 8 unremarkable minutes pass as the officer searched the vehicle before Rivas decides to activate his spotlight, shining it directly at Kevin and into his camera, clearly retaliating against him for recording the interaction.
Oh, hey, get over here. If you get near this traffic stop, you're gonna go to jail. Let me.
He shined his light in my camera.
I don't care.
You should care. That's a First Amendment violation.
Okay, that's fine.
That's not fine.
Okay.
So I moved out of the way.
If you get closer to this traffic stop, you're gonna go to jail.
I moved out of the way of his light.
I want to make it very clear to you that if you get closer to this traffic stop, you're gonna go to jail.
Midwest.
Do you understand that?
Switching now.
Ridiculous, man. People are trying to do an investigation and you don't have a light.
You shouldn't be afraid of a camera.
Oh, trust me, we're not afraid of you.
He shouldn't shine his light in my. He shouldn't shine his light in my camera.
You're having to worry about something else, and then you right next to us recording.
Shouldn't worry about me.
Well, obviously you've never done this job before, but you clearly doesn't know what comes with it.
The First Amendment of the United States Constitution protects the freedom of press, which encompasses the right of journalists to gather news and information without due interference from government actors, including law enforcement. A deliberate attempt by police to impede one's ability to record or document their activities is not only douchebag material, it's an infringement upon those constitutionally protected rights. Recent legal developments, such as the case of Irizarry v. Yahia, have demonstrated a narrowing scope of qualified immunity. In the case, a federal court held that Officer Yahia was not entitled to qualified immunity for chilling the First Amendment rights of Liberty Freak TV by shining a handheld flashlight into his and Eric Brandt's camera. The following is an excerpt from a previous publication regarding that incident and lawsuit. Officer Yahia drives towards Liberty Freak, and upon exiting his cruiser, he stands directly in front of his camera with the intent to suppress his First Amendment right to film the police encounter. He then uses his flashlight in an attempt to disrupt Eric Brandt's recording.
Hey, get the f*** out of his face, Cole.
What's wrong with you?
What are you, a clown? Oh, I gotta be one f***ing jack to f*** the whole thing up. What the f*** is wrong with you people?
Hard to make the video every fucking time.
Can you just turn your light a little bit away from those folks over there, please? Thank you. No. You want to put a lease on your June here?
Mr. Irizarry sued Officer Yahia pro se under 42
it's every
U.S.
week.
Code 1983, alleging that the officer violated his First Amendment rights. The district court dismissed the complaint for failure to state a claim, finding that Mr. Irizarry had alleged a constitutional violation, but held that Officer Yahia was entitled to qualified immunity because the violation was not one of clearly established law. Liberty Freak appealed, and the University of Colorado School of Law, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the Cato Institute, the National Police Accountability Project, and the First Amendment scholars filed amicus briefs on behalf of Liberty Freak. Finally, on July 11th of 2022, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals reviewed the district court's opinion and the allegations that Officer Yahia intentionally positioned himself directly in front of Mr. Irizarry to make sure he intentionally obstructed the camera view and attempted to saturate Eric's camera sensors by shining an extremely bright flashlight at it. That Yahia drove right at Mr. Irizarry and Mr. Brandt and sped away, made a U-turn, gunned his cruiser directly at Mr. Brandt, swerved around him, stopped, then repeatedly began to blast his air horn at the two men, and that Officer Yahia's actions amounted to a blatant prior restraint, and Officer Yahia deprived him of his rights to freedom of the press and sought to punish Mr. Irizarry for exercising his rights. Upon reviewing the district court's decision, the 10th Circuit Court reversed, revoking Officer Yahia's qualified immunity because of the many sibling circuit court decisions that recognize the right to film the police. The 10th Circuit even cited Turner v. Driver, a well-known case from the 5th Circuit involving the Batusai YouTube channel, which is further proof that these incidents inspire massive change. The case is now being sent back to the lower courts for further proceedings, but without Officer Yahia's qualified immunity attached to it. That case was heard by the 10th Circuit, as it occurred in Colorado. Unfortunately, this incident happened in Texas, which falls under the 5th Circuit. However, the 5th Circuit has also addressed issues regarding the chilling of First Amendment rights by law enforcement in several notable cases. With the courts moving in this direction, it's possible that we see the opinion spread and more officers will lose their immunity. Perhaps this will be the case to do it. The well-lit area and the time between the beginning of the recording and Officer Rivas shining the light at the camera are two solid factors that point to his actions as being unnecessary, malicious, and only serving to limit the constitutional rights of a citizen freely exercising their civil rights. Not to mention, they can no longer use the officer safety excuse thanks to Officer Gandara's ego.
You shouldn't be afraid of a camera.
Trust me, we're not afraid of you.
He shouldn't shine his light on my. He shouldn't shine his light on my
We're
camera.
having to worry about something else, and then you right next to us recording.
Shouldn't worry about me.
Eventually, the driver was released, and Officer Rivas walks over to Kevin to ask what branch of the military he served in, perhaps to try to figure out who he is, or maybe to avoid an official complaint by establishing a bond.
Almost. Hey, what branch were you?
You know, you shouldn't shine your light on someone filming you like that. You know that's a First Amendment violation.
What branch are you?
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm a veteran today.
The officer's pathetic people skills fail, and he retreats at the first sign of contempt for his contemptuous actions. Kevin then turns to the supervisor in an attempt to make a complaint with the sergeant on scene.
You're the sergeant here? Sergeant? You're the sergeant here? You should tell your guys not to shine a light. When we're filming like this, you should tell him that you shouldn't be shining his bright light in my face like that. That's not good. In recent years, law enforcement has become one of the most documented professions in world history. While a prevailing fascination with high-pressure situations and compelling encounters undeniably contributes to this phenomenon, its fundamental impetus lies in the imperative for government transparency. But perhaps the accountability is what breeds their hatred for the camera and the citizens that dared to aim them towards an officer. Kevin is currently seeking legal representation for deprivation of rights under color of law. I have also helped him make contact with Liberty Freak TV, the man behind the court case Irizarry v. Yahia. If this blatant violation of Kevin's civil rights is ever exposed to the courts, I will be sure to bring it to you. In the meantime, let me know what you think of this interaction in the comments down below. And if you like these presentations, check out another episode, linked on screen.
First of all, take your phone out of my face.
Did you say that her son was murdered because she didn't support?
Take your phone out of my face.
Did you say that she was murdered?
Take your phone out of my face.
Most corrupt mayor in America. I have never, ever seen corruption like Mayor Tiffany Henyon. Super mayor, super corrupt.
You right there, when you were trying to antagonize him, like that's scary.
and you are going to be put in a federal penitentiary one day. Bring those receipts. You're going to need them. You can read them in your jail cell. Hey, how are you? There she is, ladies and gentlemen, the most corrupt mayor in America. Yes, your son was what?
Murdered because I didn't support her. That's what this one right here said.
Wow. Who said that, ma'am?
Michael A. Smith.
He's this guy?
Yeah.
Did you say that her son was murdered because Mayor Tiffany Henry she didn't support?
Don't come on my face. First of all, take your phone out of my face.
Did you say that her son was murdered because she didn't support?
Take your phone
Tiffany
out of my
Henry?
face.
Did you say that she was murdered?
Take your phone out of my face, man. What's wrong with you?
I'm asking you a question.
You don't come on my face with your phone.
I'm asking you a question.
Take your phone out of my face, dude.
It's on your face.
What's wrong with
it's
you?
It's not in your face. Did you?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Get your phone out of my face, man.
Oh, I'm asking you a question.
Get your phone out of my face.
You said that son was killed because she didn't support Tiffany Henry. I was asking a question. I can ask him a question.
You can ask him a question, but you can't record. This is
Oh, I can record anywhere in a public meeting. That's for sure.
You say, I'm sorry.
I can record anywhere in a public meeting. My name is Sean Paul Reyes. I'm an independent journalist. My company's name is Long Island Audit, Inc. I travel around the country from New York to California and everywhere in between investigating corruption. I have never, ever seen corruption like Mayor Tiffany Henry. Super mayor, super corrupt. Your police department threatened your police chief, who's not even qualified to be the police chief, can't even pass a simple exam, not even qualified, pulled out his handcuffs to try and intimidate me with unlawful arrest. Another officer threatened to throw me into a cell. There's over 15,000 people here watching you live, Mayor Henyard, and you're being a coward. You won't even look me in the eye. I've gone to every single state almost, and I've seen the worst of the worst politicians, police officers from Connecticut, everywhere in between. And I've never seen a police department this bad. It needs to be disbanded. You talk about these receipts. Where are they? You do these podcasts, but you don't say anything. You don't say anything. I got receipts, you show papers, you shuffle them around, and you don't do anything. Lori Lightfoot's not going to get you. The FBI is going to get you, and they're going to throw you in the federal penitentiary. That day is going to come. Lori Lightfoot, to everybody here from Dalton and everybody watching, she has no legal authority to do anything. It's a waste of time. She has a waste of time and money. It's going to cost you at least $30,000, and she has no subpoena power.
It's okay.
She's getting paid $400 an hour. $30,000 in 72 hours. She'll be done in 2 weeks.
All right.
And then what is she going to find? That this woman that we all know she's corrupt is corrupt? She's going to ask Tiffany Henyard for documents that she's never provided to anybody else under FOIA, under law? The Attorney General can't even get her to fork over documents.
Take a look at those.
You think she's going to hand it over to Lori Lightfoot? She's not. Newsflash, she's not.
Okay.
Tiffany Henyard is going. She has a police vehicle as her
do you have
personal
any
vehicle.
questions
That's
about
against
the
state
position?
law.
Do you have any questions?
State law. We should call the police right now and have them confiscate her vehicle. South Holland Police,
Southern Michigan.
South Holland Police needs to confiscate her Tahoe because it has lights, it has a municipal police plate, and Thornton Township's not allowed to have, per state statute, is not allowed to have a police vehicle. And she's driving around in an illegal police vehicle. Probably the person driving is not even law enforcement, impersonating a police officer. You should be ashamed of yourself because you're a coward and you're a tyrant. I've seen people like you before, but not on your level. And you are going to be in the federal penitentiary one day. Bring those receipts. You're going to need them. You can read them in your jail cell.
You do seats.
Have the life you deserve.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm not a political person, but what I do want to say is, you guys are concerned.
I believe
I just graduated out of college. I'm worried about my safety as well. The media, I really don't like. To be blunt, I don't care about the
Usually,
but the media is
for
like
experience,
badgering me.
I think they're starting folks
Badgering
at
to
like
work.
20
I'm
to
actually
24.
scared to come to work. You want me to quit, but you also want me to work for the community that I hold on, no, I don't have a
It's in the industrial drive there.
Cameras can't hurt anyone.
Thank you. You out of order. Go ahead with your statement.
Cameras can't hurt anyone.
Nothing to do with the campaign.
The media is harassing me.
It's come here to help you guys. We don't have to go on. We don't really care. When we come to work, my first priority is when I even said it when I was when I was interviewing for here. I don't care about what's going on. I barely watch news. All I want to do is work for my community. I volunteered a lot in Chicago, and I came here to volunteer and work for my community. So it's very scary when you have grown men coming at you and threatening you. It's scary. Like, I'm scared to go to work. I'm scared. I don't want to feel scared to go to work every day. Keep it down, everybody. Please let her finish. And I'm shaking because, like, there's always going to be something wrong with whatever political or whoever's the head charge. I'm saying leave the people that care about you alone, because you're saying you want to hire new people. You're telling them to come in here, but when they're hired and they have nothing to do with anything at all, and you're bringing us in and you're threatening us after you put us in, like, it doesn't make sense. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about the people that work at GA that's working with the seniors. I'm not talking about Tiffany. I don't care.
First shift is
I don't care about
5.
Tell Tiffany to step down.
30 p.m. So it's like 30.
Guys, keep it down. Let her finish her comment.
And third shift is 3 p.m.
You're safe out of a police report, right? But when a media like him come up to me and I'm trying to run behind, I don't, like, honest to God, I don't care about politics. I care about my safety. And if the community members are speaking, go ahead, speak. Power to you. I'm not disregarding anything you're saying. If anything,
my boss is actually working with this because
you have that right. You live here, pay your taxes, you have that right.
What shift would you be in?
What do we have to do with this? We don't have anything to do with it.
Nobody threatened her.
Okay.
What?
No,
When I'm just filing
first shift is 5 a.m.
What do I have to do with this? That you're coming here and threatening
No, it's just they call it 3 p.m. to 1:30.
I have a coworker that they listed her children's names out of nowhere. She has nothing to do with anything. Her children.
No facts, no information other than she's being threatened by the media.
Yes, there is Archie. There's
How are you being threatened?
It's like you're saying
How are you threatening?
McDonald's burger just because they work there. You know, like,
well, 20 to 24, I believe, is the range.
They're just a worker. They're just flipping burgers. I'm just flipping burgers. I don't have anything to
Well,
do with anything up there.
Experience and stuff like that.
So please stop. You right there, when you're trying to antagonize him, like, that's scary.
All right, I'll have her send that stuff over, and when you get a chance, just take a look at those onboarding tests.
Cameras aren't scary. Cameras are scary. Who's scared of cameras over there? You scared of cameras?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yo, Tiffany Henyard's goons approached me, and she's scared of me. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Floor, please.
Bro, stop.
All right, my name is Nate Fields. I live at 15475.
You're in public, bro. Come on. You were just on camera up there, right? I'm sorry? You gonna show me something? You live in front of 17,000 people right now. You gonna show me? What are you gonna show me? I'm not intimidated by you, man. You want to make Henyard's goons?
I came up here to ask a question.
I'm not intimidated. You left the camera when you're talking.
But I worked here for almost 14 years.
Look at these guys.
I'm the one that found Fred Zuccarelli, okay?
People think we're intimidated. I'm gonna show you something. What are you gonna show me?
What happened? I'm in shock, right? One of the first people who came to Fred's house. Right?
He said he's gonna show me something. What is he gonna show me, man?
No, you can't go. You right there. Your black truck, black dress. She said, Nate, whatever you need, I got you. I got you. Whatever you need.
Child grooming.
While I was breathing. We almost breathed.
You got a child grooming charge? Hey, so we can look him up. Tell the people what's his name. Tell the people. Tell 17,000.
He's a failed ass trustee that wanted to be married. He wanted me to help him, and now he's trying to kiss her ass to get a check. He better not mess with you no more while I'm right here. I know the real him. Okay.
Either way.
This is crazy.
I just want to say that Tiffany, I want to know why I got fired.
Grooming charges, huh? That's crazy.
I was told that me as a photographer,
crazy.
I mean, I was always told that I was a good photographer. I'm pretty sure that some of the employees.
The tough guy trying to intimidate me. Say you got something from me.
That's Michael Smith.
Michael Smith. Okay, Michael Smith.
But the document that I was given said that.
I appreciate that. We got to look into Michael Smith. This gentleman here says he's got Jebediah says he's got charges. Grooming charges. 18,000, almost 19,000 people. Anything you want to say to the people?
And he was supportive of Mayor Riley.
Right.
So when he found out correct she was, he turned his behavior because he wants to check. This man was charged criminally for trying to groom a child in school as an employee.
That's why he don't want his face on camera.
Then he got fired. He went to another school and didn't put it on his application. They hired him. He came and got fired. He's trying to get Tiffany to give him
some sort of job, an opportunity to make some money.
She could. She can't give anybody.
She's gonna have a job working a commissary or something soon.
And y'all gotta stop eating corn because y'all just look crazy out there eating all this corn.
Today,
corn is bad for you, for real. It's man-made and it was originally made for cattle.
Today,
I can serve to make it big and fat.
From the police.
I'm just saying, y'all.
This says I can't
we need to focus on our health and our wealth.
The police station. Where's that out of Cook County?
Tiffany,
I have an attorney here. You need an attorney?
You got me, and I trusted in you.
I got good lawyers in the area.
So where's the accountability? Where's the accountability?
I don't want any personal information from you.
Where's my mental health?
Michelle Staples, who is the lieutenant.
She's a lieutenant?
That I exposed. She's a lieutenant and she's over internal affairs.
Is she commander? I know.
She's over internal affairs. She's a lieutenant. I cannot go to this address, which is the Dalton Police Department.
Wow.
They're getting me for stalking because I exposed that she was having sex in the Dalton jail cell. She allowed her boyfriend to drive her police car carrying her gun.
Oh.
She was having a relationship with the chief's son. He got her suspended. The mayor fired the chief, Collins, and then gave her a promotion and put her in internal affairs.
You know, me and you got something in common. My attorneys, they've never seen a police officer get an order of protection against somebody in their life, and they've done it to me. So I've had it in the past. I actually have one right now, actually, yeah.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm a fan of yours. Keep them.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
With their ass for that.
Appreciate you, brother. We got supporters over here.
Now that's if nothing goes wrong, and you know it may be 10:30 by the time I get there, but yeah, I'll make it. John Chipola, welcome in. How you doing?
All right. Hey, how's it going, Dove? Sorry, missed you.
Zapatillos.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the stream here.
California is over by
Shit, I gotta do.
Sacramento. inDOCtriNATION, welcome in.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.